In this week's episode, we'll get stuck into some tuna fishing off Port Fairy, hear a few words from the one and only guru Lynchy, but let's start by seeing how the boys are going in the factory.
Once the flow coat and fleck side of things is done, all our components have been fitted and all of our parts for that specific boat are there ready to go. It really is a culmination of everyone's work throughout the whole factory to get the build to that stage.
Just jumped in at 6 metre offshore. Got Lukey over here. He's just starting to do a bit of a detail on it. They're nice and clean shoes, mate. It's coming up absolutely smick and span.
It's a really proud thing for all the guys to sit back and look at a boat before it goes into the fit-out shed. Sit back and look and say, I built that. They know they're building the best boats on the market. And before it goes into that fit-out shed, they can all see it.
So we're just here installing the hardtop to the classic version of our 233. Got nice big windows in it, radar on top. We bolt this wheelhouse internally, so no bolts are seen on the outside. I think it gives a nice flush look. Basically, we just got to watch out. We leave enough room between the flange and the dash, so nothing hits. Everything's streamlined. Works a treat.
So we've got a completely separate shed for our fit out. We like it to be, I wouldn't say sterile, but it's a nice clean shed in there. We don't want to push it in there where all the motors and sounders and all your electrical work, you want it to be nice and clean. You don't want to be filthy working and that sort of stuff. So yeah, we've got a nice big shed there for the boys. It's, like I said, nice and clean. They've got all the right tools to do the job and put out the awesome product that we do.
It's going on beautiful. Have a look at it. Went in nice and easy. Absolute masterpiece, this wheelhouse. Lovely.
We offer a full fit-out service for our boats. We like to build them and then do the complete package, motors, electronics, everything like that. We have a range of options that people can choose from. Obviously, we're custom boat builders, so guys can choose any sort of package they want, whether it be different sounders, different screens, radars, transducers, any sort of works and stuff they want. We use a lot of the Simrad gear, which we think is absolutely exceptional. We put a lot of that stuff on our boats. We recommend it. They're top of the line. We have it in our demo boats. We love to get out there catching fish off the Simrad gear, so they do an excellent job. Our electricians and motor mechanics do an impeccable job. You'll find if you have a look at the work that they do, it's second to none. They're that fastidious with it. It comes down to millimetres, and they're top of the line. So they do a really good, fantastic job, and every single boat that leaves here gets huge comments and raps off the customers and all their friends on how good the fit-out team does.
I'm here with Nath, our fitter, just running through what he's been fitting out on the boat. Where are you up to, mate?
We've just rigged up the engine, mate, the switches, lighting, plumbing, bait tanks, all the gear. So
beautiful.
New Simrad. It's about it, I think.
Yeah, lovely. Just installed a new Simrad 12-inch yesterday. Ready to go and find some fish?
All right, guys, here we are on a customer's boat. Nathan's on the fit out. He's got a couple of 12-inch Simrad screens in, so the NSS 12 Evo 3s. It's getting a high, wide and a low transducer. Nathan's doing the mark out stage, so at this stage we like to template the boat, take some photos and we send off to the customer to confirm positions before we cut anything. So yeah, this boat's getting a 300 horsepower Suzuki. It'd be good fun, so it's a fairly comprehensive fit out. Yeah, this having the two Simrad screens would be pretty serious sort of setup. Couple of transducers, it's getting all the good setup, it's getting a Lone Star winch, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it'd be a pretty impressive boat. It'd be also good fun having the 300 horsepower Suzuki on it as well.
I'm always excited about fishing. Always. You get up early, the anticipation builds, the drive down there. Although I've just been told now that we're going to Port Fairy, so we're going somewhere else now. But you never know with fishing, do you? Here we are this morning with the Edencraft crew again and myself at Port Fairy. We've come down to Port Fairy this morning with Grant and his illustrious crew to Blockhead.
Always looking after it.
She's nearly sunk the boat already, would you believe, but we'll move on from that because he can't even get it in the water without my help.
It was a decky.
But
you didn't know how to start the motors for starters.
It's not my boat. Is it my boat? My boat, you just turn the key and away you go. And
you
away
obviously
you go.
don't know how to drive a
Now
boat.
listen, I want the motors to go down. On the throttle control, the motors won't go down.
Yeah, do them individually.
Individually.
Yeah, because the motor's not started.
Hey?
Because the motor's not started. Didn't have the key on, did you?
And we're going to go out to probably the island today and try and get some bluefin tuna. So the bluefin tuna have been very proactive down here in these waters.
And I think under my guidance today we will get bluefin tuna. You took us to a polar bay last week and we got donuts. Under my guidance today, I'm sure we'll get several fish.
Several.
Several.
You heard that? Several fish.
Several fish.
So what are you talking about flathead? You can get some flathead here. We won't move the dock.
We'll get some school fish, tuna, you know, around 12 to 20 kilo. And we might even land a barrel if we get lucky. But I will guarantee some fish.
Guarantee some fish. You got that?
That's
Make sure that's recorded on tape and we'll see at the end of the day. I've been getting the boat in the water and what have you been doing?
Have you closed the window on the inside?
Ready, set, go. Whenever you're ready, skipper.
How do you want to put the aerials up?
It'll be time to come home before we even get anywhere. Come on, skipper.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go.
And then we'll put the lures on because if we see fish, I don't want to have to pick around.
It's like he's fishing. Knows nothing. I told you that before.
I don't. I've come to Port Fairy, I don't know, 10 years ago the first time. Because Portland's just down the road, but Port Fairy's a little bit quieter. Bit easier to get in and out of, and you don't have to put up with so many trailer boats. So come down here, and hopefully the fish are moving down from Portland a little bit, so we don't have to go out too far to get some. That's what we're hoping for. But we're yet to see, so we'll see what happens.
Lost and we were given the wrong coordinates. It's not even like set properly. I've been out there with another very good friend of mine, and we'd had a few frothies, and we got up and we went out and got very, very rough. And he was sick for about 6 hours, and that was a long day. Grew up in Geelong, born and raised. Went to school at Our Lady's Primary and St Joey's College. Got into fishing earlier on in my early teens with a few good friends of mine, a few old friends.
back in the push bike days, riding down to Cunningham Pier and St Helens Pier. We used to ride the odd 1 or 2 push bikes off the end of Cunningham Pier, so we've been told. We'd mainly go after small pinkies back in those days, and if you got a good flathead to take home, that always made Mum and Dad very, very happy, of course. But predominantly it was pinkies we were after. First time I went offshore was in a charter boat, and it was a huge experience, and I think that was a turning point in my fishing career. Back then it was, of course, a wonderful new experience, and being so far offshore, it was an amazing journey, and as soon as I hooked into my first tuna, I was hooked. That was the end of it. First boat, very small little stacer, little aluminium stacer boat. I really thought it was ants' pants. I thought, you know, coming from all the fishing around Geelong and the wharf structures and so on, and a lot of surf, I did a lot of surf fishing as well. But to have the boat and put it in the water for the first time and go out and be by myself, and guys would find me out there in the middle of nowhere on the bay on a good day, and they'd just be shaking their head. Like I'd be there fishing and swimming, and I'd stay there all day and wouldn't come back. My favourite moment about fishing starts the day before. If I know I'm going fishing, I hardly ever sleep that night, and I'm getting a little bit older these days. But I'm still like a big kid, and I have been since I was a young boy when I rode that push bike. I get excited, I can't sleep, I'm up before the alarm goes off, I'm out here checking everything, boat on the back, down to the water, into the water at the ramp, getting things set up, set back. The anticipation for that first reel to start screaming, I don't know what it is. I mean, there's only some of us in the world that are nutso fishermen, but as soon as that reel screams, that makes it all worthwhile.
Okay guys, here we are on our new 233 Platinum soft top. It is our new model. We took it up to the show. It got a really good response. We're really happy with the way it's come out. We're currently in the process of bolting some big motors on, so that'll be pretty cool. But we love the dash layout of this new boat. The screen we got here is 16-inch Simrad, an Evo 3. It works beautifully. Good thing about having that 16-inch screen, it's big, the split screen. It works fantastic. It works really well on this dash. We're very happy with it. Very excited about getting on the water. We did have one of these in our other Platinum we had as well. It's now with a customer, and it's come up very good, and he's very happy with it. Does the job perfectly. One other thing we're really pleased with Simrad is our customer service. Every time we call Simrad, they're fantastic. Their knowledge about their products is fantastic. More than happy to help out. So for people who are thinking about getting some electronics, get around, do your research, but we've found this product is user friendly. We're very happy with it. The backup is fantastic. Their stock is very good. They normally got it on hand. Yeah, we can't complain. We're very happy with the product. It's done the job. We've used it personally with our bit of fishing we've been doing. Yeah, we can't be happier. Recently we've done a customer boat, Arley's Formula. It's been a pretty serious fit out. Everyone's sort of seen the boat. It's pretty well known now. Had a really large comprehensive package of Simrad in it. Had a couple of screens, had multiple transducers. It had the Simrad Halo radar with the autopilot. We had it out in the water. It was a really impressive setup. It's done everything we wanted it to. The customer's more than impressed. So when it comes to Simrad, they seem to cover everything. Especially their radar was fantastic. We found that everything worked. It integrated very nicely. Yeah, so hopefully that boat gets out and catches some fish, and the amount of electrics in it, I don't think much will get past him. So yeah, it'd be good to see that out in the water and catch some fish.
After the break, let's head back on the water off Port Fairy and hear more words of wisdom from Lynchy.
That's not lady. Alright, you understand what I'm saying? That's not it. That's another, must be another group. It doesn't look like it on here, does it? I'll tell you where my mark is. It's out about, yeah, it's out here somewhere. So you're still a long way off my mark. Kind of doesn't make much sense to me, but anyway, there's the island over there in the distance. If you want to put the coordinates in from last year, I'll give them to you. So you can be at least heading for one of my old marks. Secret business. It's going straight to it. So yeah, what you just head towards there, skipper.
At least I know how to put it in, mate. You don't know how to put it in your...
I don't even go there. This is not even set correctly. Down there, Grant. You pick some lures out. I'll be in control of the vessel. It's a better idea, actually.
We're just setting up the lures. We're just going to have a bit of control around out here. So we're just putting 4 rods out for now.
Before I bought the Edencraft, I had a 6.3 aluminium shark cat, beautiful vessel, sailfish actually, and we're offshore of Portland, and I had my son on board and nephew and his mate, and the weather was pretty ordinary. We had good fish and we were on our way home. Tied against the wind, and it got up real bad. So anyone who knows Portland, you've got to get around that wonderful great big piece of rock before the weather settles down. So we're still about 15 k's offshore, I'd say, and a big rogue wave came up, caught one pontoon, flipped us up onto the side of the boat, and we're sliding down the crest of the wave on one pontoon. A son's grabbed hold of the roof, nephew's on the floor, the other mate's grabbed hold of the, what's the name, I've spun the wheel around, we've slid all the way down the side, it started to foam up and come onto the side of the boat. Thankfully it all dug in at the bottom, motors dug in, and we drove out of it. Otherwise she would have gone, and that would have been the end of that boat. But we got home, and that was pretty dodgy. That's like Heckle and Jekyll, isn't it? Thank Christ I'm steering the boat. That's all I can say. The captain's in charge. So here we are, we've got some lines in the water. We're 64 metres of water currently off Portland. Oh, you're right. Well, comes a decky. And so there we go. 64 metres off Portland. We're just heading in actually. So we've swept around, we've come out of Port Fairy, out of the harbour, and we've decided to start our lures in the water now.
We're outside one to always put the furthest.
Just going to come up and try and find some bird life or some bait fish working. From here going back in to say maybe about 50 metres of water, and then we'll continue along that line and we'll go west for some distance to an old mark of mine where I caught tuna last year. Last year the tuna at that mark were in the 20 kilo range. They weren't real big fish, but in that area they were feeding well,
this is one of your marks,
and there was a lot of them.
You can understand. Don't get a fish, it's you're taking captaincy, is that what it is?
You can understand.
You're at the steering wheel?
Some particular guy made a comment an hour ago that he was going to take us to the fish today, and we have seen that many fish with him steering the boat already. So I would think with me in control of the vessel, we're odds on to get something.
Homemade safety clip.
Just worry about what you have to worry about, and
This is alive, mate.
Listen, can I get you a beer or
Tea and coffee?
yeah, a bit of sushi to go with that, mate, or something? Little tiny whiting like that. And he struggles to do that, I find out as well. Guaranteeing fish, apparently. One should never put one's big foot in one's big mouth early in the day before we've caught anything. Because you know what? It is bad luck to forecast what you're going to do for the day. At least when I came out, we were targeting huge tuna. Today we're targeting anything that moves. I think we take a flathead home and be happy with that.
After the break, we'll have a look at Guru Lynch's shed and see what they've caught off Port Fairy.
You've got to have the frothy fridge. You've got to have one of those. Up here you've got some motorcycle stuff up there. I used to ride bikes many years ago. I barrack for the hawks. My wife unfortunately barracks for the cats. So there's always problems here in the shed when the hawks play the cats. A photo that was done when we went to America, some bits and pieces from Vanuatu. Here we have a signed Hawks jumper from Luke Hodge himself. Of course, unfortunately, Luke's moved on now, but that's another story. Plenty of stubby holders, glasses, big telly. You've got to have a big telly when you're watching the sports. Cricket, doesn't matter what it is. You've got to have the joint rocking. It's no good being out here with a fire and a coldie and you haven't got the music pumping. And of course, many pictures of fish up there that I've caught, places that we've been to. Of course, it's got the fire going, and later on we might sit out here and have a couple of frothies, I suppose. But back to the boat. This is the boat that was built when Grant first took over the Edencraft name, the factory itself. The first 6 metre that came out of the factory is this one, named the Legend. Sitting on the tandem trailer, heavy duty trailer, very, very good trailer, tows extremely well. Twin Suzuki motors on the back, twin 140s. I find them very, very good. They've got a nice hole shot, 22-inch props on the back, gives it long legs. The fuel range of this is probably somewhere around about 350 k's on the water, so it can get around, there's no doubt about that. Inside the 6 metre boat, there is a lot of fishing room, and that's one of the reasons why I picked it out. For a 6 metre boat, of course the hull is famous for what it can do in the water, offshore, its safety, its speed. Now you can see in this one that this is a little bit different than most 6 metre boats as well. It's been ordered without a dive door. Now here we go, I've installed this custom built dive ladder, which really has, as far as I'm concerned, taken that need out for a dive door. The wings are off, the bait boards have been away. We've been out tuna fishing for some time, and I normally have all this taken away when we're offshore. The live bait well, it's a big well, and it really does take everything you need to do. You catch in there, your liveys. Normally I'll put a lot of squid in there, fresh squid when I catch them, and then go chasing after the kingfish. Either side of this one, these two hatches, they'll cover your battery system. There's a battery for each motor, and then the house battery. But this particular line, as you can see what I've got here, these CTAC battery monitoring systems is probably one of the only ones that I know that has been customised to take this. In the back you have a very, very large catchment area for all your bait fish and for all your catch. Here I've gone for these boxes because in the back of the boxes is a very good feature. Carries a lot of tackle on hand, but I don't have to have it anywhere else. But the hatch system on the Edencraft 6 metre comes in two parts. It's very well made, very sturdy. I think it's a great setup before you enter the hatch at the front. Now this door itself, that comes off as well, and on the inside of that I've got not only the storage for both radios, so there's 27 meg in there and a UHF radio as well. But they're a good sized grab rails, you know, they're not the smaller diameter stuff, they're quite large, they're good to hang on to, they're well made. Very, very important to have when you're crunching through a good swell. Hang on to it. Another great feature of this one on the outside of the bimmy and the clears is the wind deflector. Stress-free free-fall anchor for all those, I'm getting too old now, so all those easy times the anchor gets stuck, press the button, that's worth its weight in gold. Good set of clears. Let's unzip that and get a good look outside when you're driving, good vision at night time when you're coming down the channel, you've been out chasing snapper all night. You don't want those lights to get in the way, and you've got to see those other vessels out there. So that's another great little piece of the boat. All in all, this boat is really set up for exactly how I want to fish. I can either go fishing by myself or take a mate or two out with me, and I can handle a 6 metre boat pretty well. As I previously mentioned, I have had some shark cats, and they're great boats, but they do have their shortcomings. And I went through a period of time where just before I retired that I wasn't fishing much, and decided to get rid of that boat. And after much thought, I came home one night and said to the wife, I'm buying a new boat. And she said, yeah, go right ahead. But I don't think she said right ahead was quite right ahead to this extreme. But I went in and signed up and picked out exactly the one that's behind you now. It's a glorious machine. It is my pride and joy, the Legend. And I think retirement and having such a great lifestyle at the moment with this boat and the friends that came with it is just an amazing story for me. Yeah, well, it's quite iconic for me, the fact that some months down the track through another nice chap, I've met Grant, the owner, and struck up a bit of a friendship with Grant and his family. They're very nice people, they're hard-working. You go in there and they welcome you with open arms and treat you as one of the family, which is to me and my wife very dear, and we love that association with them. And hence that's flourished along the way. We've been fishing together, and the story continues, I hope. Edencraft is just one of those boats, that name, that most fishermen aspire to own one. You can talk about all the sorts of Haynes Hunters and other boats on the market, and yes, they all have their good points and bad points. Edencraft as a name, I think, says it all. And Edencraft to me is the best of the best, and it's certainly, and I have been quoted as saying this before, it is the Harley Davidson of boats. So, something has decided to come and have a look. It's got a bit of weight on it. I don't think it's a real big fish, but I reckon it's okay. I just happened to be on the back of the boat. I had a reasonable idea that we were about to get a fish.
Paddy's waited in that corner all day. 9 hours he's put in that corner. You
Yeah.
walk into that corner, bang.
Now, would someone like to perhaps get a gaff?
God, it must be a monster the
He's,
way you're taking your time.
Well, I gave him a little bit, you know, oh, here he goes. He's starting to wake up a bit now. Now, he'll come up and he might have a bit of a look and then take off again. Just wait until I see how big he is. Oh, maybe he's a little bit bigger than I thought. Yeah, well, maybe he's a reasonable fish, Grant. He's doing his circles. It's coming up now. I reckon this might be a good 20. Now, I'm up to the leader, guys. So what we need to do, all right. Took a beautiful size lure, of course. Look at that, right in the corner of the mouth. Finally got one. We've done a few Ks. We're out. Oh, we're in between Portland and Port Fairy. Look, a nice little fish, probably around about 10 kgs or something like that. Fought pretty well. They're a tornado lure. They're great. They're fantastic. Samurai rod. They are the best. Small fish for a samurai rod like this, but handled it quite easy. And look at the big Stella. Wasn't even like catching flathead. What?
Sounds like a flathead and it took 20 minutes.
They get nothing going.
You can't explain. There's nothing quite like it. Up against the deep and blue, a humbling excitement. Just turn victory. The time's gonna